Fidel Castro was a defiant symbol of socialism, living right in America's backyard. With his bushy beard, olive green fatigues, and cigar, Castro led the guerrilla movement against then-President Fulgencio Batista, seizing power on January 1st, 1959. Castro launched radical economic reform, nationalized industries, and collectivized sugar and tobacco farming. His revolutionaries opened thousands of new schools and built an enviable healthcare system.
We are always changing.
Pero cambios hacia adelante,
but
no hacia
changing towards the future.
But Castro's one-party political system was rigid and regimented.
Hasta la victoria siempre.
He jailed thousands of opponents and silenced organized dissent. Hundreds of thousands fled his rule. In April of 1961, the United States orchestrated an invasion to topple Castro. It failed miserably. Of the 1,400 CIA-trained Cuban exiles who landed southeast of Havana, more than 1,000 were captured. Another 100 were killed in the Bay of Pigs invasion. The nuclear showdown that followed was watched on televisions around the world, but ended when Moscow agreed to pull its missiles out of Cuba and the U.S. promised not to invade the island nation. Castro's Cuba relied heavily on Soviet subsidies, and when the Cold War ended, so did much of that support, forcing the staunch socialist to allow limited capitalism in his country.
I did not study to be a politician. I had to learn the trade along the way.
Tensions with the United States escalated again in 1999 when a young Cuban named Elian Gonzalez was rescued off the southern coast of Florida. Castro won a resounding victory over his enemies in exile when the boy was removed from the care of relatives in Miami and returned to Cuba. Cubans got a peek at life after Castro in 2001 when he fainted during a speech in the searing sun. 3 years later, he fell at a rally, shattering a kneecap and breaking an arm. Immediately after the accident, Castro sat, slouched in a folding chair, and asked his guests to forgive the interruption.
Les pido perdón por haberme caído.
But in July of 2006, illness came between Castro and his country. After undergoing intestinal surgery, the ailing leader ceded power to his brother Raul. Since then, Castro has appeared only on television and in photographs, and he was a no-show at his 80th birthday celebration in Havana. But while missing in body, Castro was present in spirit. In a written message to the audience, the Cuban leader said, "I say goodbye with great sadness for not having had the chance to thank you personally and hug each and every one of you." John Belmont, The Associated Press.